What it do, guys? It is Jewel. I'm back at it again with another video. So today I'm going to be talking about type 1 diabetes. It's going to be like a little Q&A, get to know me type situation, type shit. I don't know who says that. Like, I've been hearing people say that a lot, like, and I'm just like, I'm on a cusp of Gen Z, but I'm like, okay, type shit. I don't know where, I don't know, but so yeah, I'll be doing a Q&A video. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this video. So, okay. Who be like, I heard it's called something. What is it called? It's like some type of symptom of ADHD or something where you're just like making random sounds that you can't control. I do that all the time. I've been doing it since forever. So. But yeah, so let's get into this video. Stay on track, Jewel. But yeah, y'all know I wrote down notes because I am used to doing it. So I gotta stay on track, and I get off track, which y'all probably could see. Anyway, so so yeah, I've lived with type 1 diabetes since I was I think it was 8 or 9. I remember because it was 3rd grade, and it was like nearing the end of 3rd grade when I was diagnosed with type 1. And so I'll be answering some of the questions that you guys have the most, and some questions that you probably have, but you don't say it out loud. You know what I'm saying? You probably wondering, but you ain't, like, you don't want to. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So the first question is, when were you diagnosed and how did it happen? So I do have a diagnosis video. Like, I'm going to link it below because it's kind of far down. And I did recently do a TikTok video where I explained my diagnosis as well. So I'm just going to link both of those below for people who want to know more, because I'm just going to do like a brief. But yeah, so I was in 3rd grade. I was in school. Basically, there was an incident at school. I ended up having to go to the hospital. And, you know, after a bunch of tests, they diagnosed me with type 1 diabetes. And yeah, so that was about 2006, I think. Yeah. I remember I had traded some good ass chips. Man, I just remember getting back in the car like, dang, I probably can't eat these. But that was a misconception. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know what was going down. But yeah, so that's how I was diagnosed and when it happened. What's the difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes? Okay, so type 1 diabetes is autoimmune. So basically my body attacked my pancreas, and now my pancreas does not make insulin. Very exciting, no, it's not exciting at all, but like, I like to laugh a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you've heard that statement, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. But honestly, I've had diabetes for so long, and it is tiresome. It does get like, but for the most part, has become a part of who I am, and I am actually proud of it, even though it annoys the frick out of me and causes me strife. But anyway, so yeah, Type 2 diabetes is, I think, more related to insulin resistance. So yeah, my pancreas does not produce insulin, so I have to take, or I used to have to take injections, which I was on up until like the age of 24, honestly. I used to have to take injections to give myself insulin for things that I eat. So for those people that are like, why don't you just diet? Like, it's not like that, hun. It ain't cut like that. It don't really work like that, you know? So no matter what I do, no matter what my diet is, you know, I have to take insulin because my body doesn't produce it. Okay, so on to the next question. Can you eat sugar? You would not believe how many how many times I get this question, which this is in no way to like criticize people that don't know about diabetes, because I didn't know about it, and honestly if I didn't have it I probably wouldn't know about it. But like I get this question so much, like why are you, it's because of what are you're eating or whatever. And obviously as human beings, we do need to watch our diet and watch what we eat so that we can be healthy. But like other than that, you guys, like I can eat regular things like you know I just have to take insulin for it before I eat, because my body doesn't produce it like a normal person's would. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I respectfully will be enjoying that cookie. Argue with your mom. But anyway, so on to the next question. What's your daily routine like? So my daily routine, I would say, it's funny because I actually have to think about it, because it's like I don't have to think about it anymore. But so answering the question, I have to think about it. But basically, I wake up and constantly I'm thinking about what my blood sugar is, or like checking my blood sugar. So with every snack, everything, everything that I consume, even like working out or exercising, I kind of have to be mindful about what my blood sugar is, and if it's high, if it's low, what I need to do to correct it, making sure that I bolus when I'm supposed to, because sometimes I forget that I'm diabetic, and then I'll eat a whole meal and forget to take my insulin, and that seems like something you wouldn't forget about, but it happens. And then I'll be like, oh shoot, and then my blood sugar has spiked, and that's a whole situation. So yeah, but all day, every day, I'm just like trying to manage my blood sugar. Usually when I exercise, you guys, and I don't mean like strenuous exercise. I mean like I was walking in the park the other day, and I have been walking for like 20 minutes max. When I tell you my blood sugar plummeted, like, and it's hard to control that sometimes, because it's like, sure, you cannot bolus as much for the prior meal that you have that day, but even then, sometimes it's nothing that I can control. So I have to watch when my blood sugar gets low, because as I'm getting older, I'm not feeling the effects as much, which is kind of scary, but is what it is. So do you ever get diabetes burnout? Abso-freaking-lutely. It's like diabetes is a part of me, and it's a part of who I am, and I don't want to make it like I'm ashamed of my disease, but sometimes, a lot of times it's difficult, because depending on what your blood sugar is, it can affect you mood wise. Irritation level is sometimes just at an all-time high for no reason. Like, I will be mad as hell, not at anyone, not at any particular situation, just mad as all get out for like, there's a lot of effects. It's difficult to insulin, the price of insulin, you guys, the price of my medication, the difficulty in trying to keep my my medication and my supplies that I have, my diabetes pump, the Dexcom, these things that I feel like should be free, they're not free. They're just not free, even though I can't live without them. that type 1 diabetics cannot live without insulin, literally. But it's so expensive, and it just having it to always worry about, you know, I have to have medical insurance, I have to have good insurance. If I don't, like, I gotta come out of pocket for this. If I don't come out of pocket, yo, they'll let me die, and that's just real. When I say they, I'm just saying big pharma. Like, I just feel like when you have a disease like that, I really feel like medication that should not be able to be priced in that manner. The tools that we need to survive, but they're really pricey. What's something people will never understand? Okay, I think one thing that's really difficult for people to understand, especially in, you know, some of my past relationships that I've had, I'm a giver, and that is a downfall, especially when you're dealing with people that are takers. Come on, man. You can't be a giver and deal with somebody that's a taker. But I feel like definitely in my past relationships, because I'm an overworker, an overdoer, an overachiever, it can mimic complete, like, optimal health. And it's like hard for people to conceptualize that I am dealing with type 1 diabetes, which is a chronic illness, 24/7. And I feel like because I love people, I try, and I don't want to look like or appear sick. It's not like I should be walking around with a freaking in a hospital bed with or something like that for you to get that I'm sick, even though I look healthy to you. Like, I feel like that's something that people will never understand. Like, put 2 and 2, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, type 1 diabetes is often invisible, but that does not mean that it doesn't exist. It's still here. We're just dealing with it. Okay. What's something funny or wild someone has said to you? Oh yeah. Okay, so I did a TikTok about this on my TikTok page, but like people, and it's not their fault. It's just that when you're faced with something that you don't really know about, sometimes, especially if you're awkward anyway, sometimes stuff comes out, you guys, you will not believe the stuff that I have come out of my mouth. Not about diabetes, but just about other things. So I had this guy walk up to me. He was like, "Oh, you have type 1 diabetes?" And I'm like, "Yeah, so we, start talking a little bit." And he goes, "Oh yeah, my grandma had that. She dead." Like, got it. Like, I don't know. It was just, we both knew it was, because I felt the awkwardness after he said it. He just looked at me like, and I was like, it's fine. But yeah, people will say stuff like that. Like, it's fine. Do people ever give you unsolicited advice? I mean, yes. Oh my gosh. I remember, okay, so back, way back when I was in elementary school, I remember my principal was like, she was very, astute. She understood things. She understood type 1 diabetes. But the office assistant did not. Not that she wasn't smart. She just, like, I would have to go into the office to do my type 1, whatever, take my insulin and stuff. She would look at me and say, like, and one time she said it in front of the principal. She was like, "Oh, you probably need to stop eating all of those sweets, like, and lose some weight." Mind you, I'm in 5th grade, y'all. Wasn't overweight. Didn't know what I looked at her and I said, the principal was like, "Yeah, she has type 1 diabetes. Like, it's not about that she's eating too many sweets, or so people always, and I've gotten that over and over and over and over, because you know, back in the day, especially in the Black community, they'd be like, it's the sugar, like she got the sugar, and it's just you know, it's type 1 diabetes is actually rare. Get it, y'all? I'm rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm rare. But no, seriously, type 1 diabetes is actually rare, and I think that's why it's just not, people don't, you know, they don't really know. They just don't. But yeah, so, okay, this is a good one. What is it like being a Black woman with type 1 diabetes? Okay. So, I think the answer to this question is layered, because I just feel like there's already not enough visibility with, you know, type 1 diabetes in general. But if you go on TikTok right now and look up a type 1 diabetes, you're going to see not people that look like me. And I don't know, like, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to be more boisterous about my diabetes, because I know that there's girls that look like me that have diabetes, and it's just that, you know, even on YouTube, I don't really see the representation. You know what I mean? You know, especially just, you know, I've followed a lot of type 1 diabetics, and they're all Caucasian. So it's just that if I want to look for a type 1 diabetic that's Black, I literally have to type in type 1 diabetic Black. Literally, like, and I know, like, my Black girls, we get this when we go on Pinterest, when we look up stuff, you have to type Black to get it to come up, and I don't like that. I just don't. I don't like that at all, because we exist, like, we're out here. And I just feel like that's crazy. But also navigating the medical system while already being Black. I feel like some physicians determine that I'm, you know, they look at me in a certain way anyway, because I'm young, because I'm Black, because I'm woman. Then you add type 1 diabetes to it, and it's like you're exaggerating. I'm not. And you wouldn't believe how many situations I have been in where it's just been ridiculous. But I have found a physician that is a person of color, and, you know, but it took a minute. You know, when I got older, what I would say is, but yeah, even when I was messing with Children's Hospital, I feel like they cared more. They cared definitely more than, like, when you become an adult, you know. But even then, I was dealing with some physicians that they you could tell they had microaggressions and stuff like that. So this is the last question, you guys. What advice would you give to someone who is newly diagnosed? Give yourself grace. This is a lifelong journey. It's not going to be perfect. You may be doing well for 6 months. Like, you could be doing really well, and then, like, do something that you consider like a F up or whatever. Because it's hard. It's so hard. Like, it's so hard. Just managing and living with this, and, like, dealing with high blood sugars, low blood sugars, trying to keep, you know, the medication and paying for your medication, and it's hard. So give yourself grace. And that's what I would say, you know. But that is the last question, and that's going to be the end of this video. Please, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Support your girl, because I do a lot, and I'm really trying, you know what I mean? And I just want to be able to be, you know, a light to someone who may be dealing with, you know, hardships, because I know I know how hard it is. It's not all smiles, you know what I mean? And it can be a lonely place. I don't have any type 1 diabetic friends. I haven't had any in years. Sometimes I see people in a store with type 1 diabetes, I get overly freaking excited and it gets weird because I'm just like, oh my God, another one. But it's like, I just, you know, so I really, at times, I feel alone, even though, you know, I have my family and support and stuff. But it's, it can be hard out here. But yeah, so that's the end of this video. Please give it a like, comment, subscribe, share with your mother, your brother, your friends, your family, your sister, your kinship. You know what I mean? And until next time, you guys know what it is. It's XOXO.